Hey there guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you all are doing great today. Sorry that it's been a while that I've been uploading. It's been a week. I was a tiny bit ill, so I didn't want to do any videos when I was ill, even if it was only a little bit. Plus, I was in Glastonbury, which was good. But I'm all good now, and now that the week has started again, I want to continue making the videos. By the way, I just want to show off this beautiful stone that I got from Glastonbury. I've always seen this stone before on other people, but I never thought to ask what it's called or to find it myself until I saw it in Glastonbury. So, it's a very cool, very spiritually stone, and it's very good for opening you up, so that's why I got it. Anyway, in today's video, I wanted to basically talk about something that I've, again, experienced a little bit in my life, and I wanted to talk about it on this video. So yeah, let's get to it. So, I was at my mate's birthday party about a couple of days ago. Yeah, it was on Saturday. And, wished him happy birthday and gave him one of his presents that I made myself. I make jewellery, so he often likes them, so I thought it would be cool, but then I'm also getting him something soon as well. But yeah, we had a nice time. I'm very close with my mate Liam, so whenever we see each other, it's always a good time. So, obviously it's his birthday, so we were all wishing him happy birthday. And it was a party that was set up by his mum. She's very, is one of them people who, does things with their kids and wants to put a party on all the time. So, for him and his family, it's not unusual to have, a family party and to, dance in the garden and all that. And, I think I was the only friend that Liam had. It was mostly his family or his family's friend, if that makes sense, or their family's partner. But there wasn't many, or if not, I think I was the only just Liam's friend there for his birthday. But I got talking to, I think it's one of his mum's friend son, if I remember right. We basically got chit-chatting about just life and some of the TV stuff we like, some of the music that we like. And then either he brought up politics, and then naturally we started talking about politics, but we spoke about different movements which have changed since its original definitions and changed from the original statements of what they were following. And I brought up the fact that I'm gay and, I am technically a part of the LGBT community, but I said that I've had experiences and I've noticed people within the community be very radical now, to the point where I've backed off and I say that I'm like a gay individual of the old LGBT community, because to fully endorse being a part of today LGBT community, you will be known as a weirdo, and I hate the fact that it is that, but it is that, because that's how I felt, and that's what other people in the community, but also mostly outside of the community, see us. But it's also true. So we basically spoke more about the community, and then we spoke a bit more about the feminist community and about the Black Lives Matter community. Basically talking about how when it was first set up, it was for a good intention to make the lives of them people better. Which, if you look back in history, there was hardly any radical people then, because there was no such thing as a radical person who was a marginalised person. Where now, because for the most part everyone has equal rights in this country, at this place in this country, all of the people that were once fighting for equality are now being radical and saying that they're oppressed when over half the time they're not. They're just confusing language, making up language, and then when they get called out on that, they then get called, you know, the ones that call them out get called trans, homophobic, or whatever, just a phobe or a ist, really. And it was just very interesting, the fact that we felt quite comfortable with each other, because it was the first time we'd met, but people are like that with me. People tell me their stuff all the time, and, you know, 8 times out of 10, it's nothing normal. It's normally their, like, life story, or, like, they talk about spirituality to me, religion, or politics. I think because I'm just a very chatty, open guy, and people sense that about me, but as we were talking about all this stuff, he's going on and I'm going on, and then I basically say what I've experienced, and then he's experienced kind of similar things, but more so I have. And he made a really good point that I really wanted to talk about. He says, because the people now are so radical, that he doesn't have any gay friends when he's had opportunity to have gay friends. And obviously, when he said that, I was like, yep, that's what the crazies want. The crazies want the straights to not want to hang out with the gays anymore. So yeah, it was really eye-opening and just very spot on with our wavelength and the fact that we thought very similarly. I mentioned I had a YouTube channel to him, and also mentioned that, you know, I talk about on my channel what we're basically talking about now. And then when I said that, he was kind of wide-eyed, and then he was like, I'm gonna subscribe to you, and he has done. So maybe he'll, like, watch some other videos. Maybe he'll watch this video. If you do, say hi in the comments or wherever. Love to hear from you. But it was just very good that we had this conversation, because now on the left, not old school libertarian, but the modern left now wants to make people be ashamed of being friends with minorities, to the point where the minority makes the majority feel like a minority with the names they call them and how they make them feel. And I just want to say that I am not down for that shit. I really am not. A lot of these woke people are clones of each other. They look very similar. Most of them are young. They've got coloured hair. They've got a lot of piercings, which, you know, I do as well. But, like, and all of them pretty much spout the same thing. Most things of woke culture today is just he said, she said, they said. And they don't talk about facts a lot. I was once, I think I've mentioned this in past videos, but in case no one's watched it, I'm gonna say it in this video. I was once in a bit of a somewhat heated debate on Facebook, basically talking about J.K. Rowling is transphobic. And I've heard this so many times, and no one that I have met has shown proof. And I really get tired of, like, he said, she said business, because people naturally just make stuff up or add their own dramatic twist onto it. So it could get to the point where she's not transphobic. So I don't care about J.K. Rowling. You know, I don't care about her life. I don't care about most people's lives that are celebrities. But I am of the wavelength of, if you call someone racist, sexist, transphobic, homophobic, then you need to show proof, because them things can either get you fired today, or it can just make people look at you as not a nice person anymore, because the times have changed from how it was 50 years ago. And in this heated debate, they were basically talking about how she's transphobic. And the first kind of page that it had was a picture of her, but then it had writing on it basically saying, I know J.K. Rowling has been through a lot of bad shit and hardship, but I personally think that she deserves more. And that just made me pissed. Like, I hate it when people want suffering over other people, especially for something that they don't have proof over. So I basically wrote a comment basically saying, stop wishing hatred on everyone. Let people live their life and be who they are. And then, of course, because they're stupid woke people, they saw it as an attack and their first comment was like, oh, well, tell that to J.K. Rowling. She's like doing so and so stuff without showing proof. And a lot of trans people, well, not a lot, I think there was probably two people in the comments that were trans, saw this conversation be dragged and there was more in there. And then they basically were like, you're not trans, so you don't have a voice on what trans people want. So, typical leftist response, if you are not that said person, then you don't have an opinion. Which is the complete opposite of old school libertarian, and that's why they're not libertarians. And then, I eventually got to a point where I was like, I need to stop getting heated and just simply say, show me proof. But I knew what was going to happen. I fucking knew what was going to happen before I said that. So I said to them, okay, if it's so clear that she's transphobic or she's done these things that they also said in the comments, show me proof. They didn't show me proof. What they did was they blocked me because I probably triggered them, and also I said, show proof, let's actually back up what you're saying. It just proves that a lot of these woke people don't believe 100% what they say, and it's just a gang thing where it's like they're basically bullies. Left-wing people of today, the woke ones, are the bullies because they'll just pick on someone who has had a couple of bad names or maybe said something that's like slightly whatever phobic or ist, and then they like literally pile on them and make their lives a misery. Like, they are bullies, and I'm just sick and tired of being in a community that was known for being bullied, and now we are the bullies, and I hate it. So yeah, I went on a bit of a side tangent there, but that really just like, ugh, that kind of thing annoys me. But I was talking about this kind of thing with him, and he said that he's been through a similar thing where he's been called some kind of, I think he said that someone called him transphobic because he wouldn't want to date a woman with a penis, but I could be wrong. Maybe I've made that up. So, let's say that they didn't. But regardless, he definitely said that he's been through a similar thing that I have, but he's not a part of the community. So naturally, as a straight guy, you're going to back out and be like, I don't want to be a part of this community, or I don't want to be friends with this community. And that's how it works now. Literally, people get turned off from just talking to us. Like how it was 10, 15 years ago. We got to a point after gay marriage was legalised and gay adoption. I definitely think that society saw us as an equal way, and bullying, physical bullying, started to go down. And people just saw us as equals at that point. And now, people see us as that we're trying to be special, which the left wokies are, and it's just really annoying. Like, it just needs to stop, it needs to end, it just needs to be thrown away in history. I also ended up talking to my mate's mum about this kind of thing. So she is basically a primary school TA teacher, and she witnesses and has experience with a lot of kids that are entitled. And she mentioned that kids know way too much about mental health, and they bring up mental health a lot to basically make people see them as better, or to basically get attention. And she brought up this one example of this girl was playing sports and kind of kicking the ball, I think either with my mate's mom or with someone else, but she happened to witness it. And they kept losing the kid, and apparently the kid got really upset, and she kind of said, "You're messing with my mental health, not letting me win." And obviously the TA was like, what the hell? Who says that? If they wanted to win, they could have just said, you're playing a bit too hard, can you play easier, please? That would have been a nice way to say it. But to say you're messing with my mental health, it just shows that there's like too much power. within kids now. And she says that, like, teaching has just got to the point where it's unbearable, where there are some people who are students out there that don't want to go to school to learn. It's just something to do because their parents just see them as like a daycare. Which obviously, when it comes to that kind of thing, that's more on the parents. But the fact that the teachers react in that way isn't like good for the teachers either. And you know, she's also been talking about there are students within her class, bearing in mind it's primary, so they're younger than 12. There are some there that she mentioned that are like using these weird made-up pronouns. She says the most popular one is they, them, which technically isn't made up, but it's used in the wrong way. You use they, them, theirs if you happen to know of a person but you don't know their sex/gender, so then you use an in-between appropriately. But people use they, them, their just because they like the idea of it. And she says it gets to the point where if you don't say it in a right way or use the wrong pronoun, then they have a meltdown. And I'm like, yep, this is what people do now. And then I mentioned that it's very popular on TikTok. If you go on TikTok, there are so many people with fake pronouns, fake genders, and also fake disorders, which I think is just so sickening. Like, as someone who is special needs, I can't help my struggles or the way I naturally can't do things. And then there are people out there that are fully functioning but fake that they're not for attention. So I think that's all I wanted to say. So I'm going to end the video here. So basically, the moral of this video is the woke people out there, stop being crazy and just look to the old school libertarian way of living, because that is what our community prides itself on. And you can, like, be angry with me all you want, but you know it's true. You know you're being crazy, and just don't be. Or be crazy, but go outside of our community, because as far as I'm concerned, normal gay guys like me and normal lesbians and bis and actual transitioning from one to the other trans people aren't interested in what you've got to say. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, if you disagree with what I say, or if you have a similar story that is what I'm saying, please let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to like and subscribe, obviously, and I'll leave my socials down below. My second YouTube channel, where I give reviews on albums that I like. I quote the songs, and then I say my favourites, and then I say what I think the artist is trying to say. I'll also link my Twitters down below. So hope you have a great day, and love you guys.